You know, Jesus used the term "follow me," and I talk about it a lot. We've used the term quite frequently in these sessions. It might be helpful to stop and just think about, what does follow mean? It's not a spiritual word. It's not one of those super spiritual words, just a word out of the vocabulary. If you went to Webster, you would find it means, you know, they always have multiple definitions of a word. It means things like to accept as authority, to watch steadily, to go somewhere with someone. All of those are beautiful definitions of what we mean by following Jesus. It means that your destiny is tied to them. In a practical way, we might say, do you follow the Steelers? How would you follow the Steelers? How would you follow your favorite team? Well, some people follow very, very closely, and some people not so closely. Some people have season tickets. Some people get a jacket that says Steelers on it. Some people read the box scores once a week. Some people just talk at cocktail parties about how the Steelers do. There are different ways to follow, but the idea there is the same as it is for following Jesus. It's beginning to have an interest in and to begin to move towards something. I would say that an actual definition of following Jesus, if I had to give a definition, it would be to be continually responsive to Christ who's in you. In other words, He's trying to lead. It's being continually responsive to this inward, this inner life that Jesus is living through you. If you're looking for something more complicated, I don't have it. It's that simple. As a matter of fact, following Jesus must be simple enough for a child or a Down syndrome person. You don't have to be theologically trained and know the Scriptures backwards and forwards to follow Jesus. What you have to have is a responsive heart, because He is prompting everybody. He is moving towards everybody. The Steelers are always there, in other words. People respond in different ways. If you want to follow Him closely, like you would follow the Steelers closely, you buy a season ticket. You get a front row seat. Or another example might be, these are very down-to-earth examples, but they're exactly what the meaning of follow is. Let's say that I didn't know my way around Pittsburgh and I was moving from the north to the south, and if I wanted to get to a certain location and you said, well, I got my car, why don't you just follow me? Well, if I wanted to get to the south, I would just follow you. How would I do that? I would follow you. I wouldn't stop at 7-Eleven and get a Coke because, you know, you might be gone. I wouldn't, I'd kind of maybe speed up once in a while to get through a light so I wouldn't lose you. In other words, my attitude would be to stay close to you, to just continually move towards you. My destiny is tied to yours. Where you go, I go. It's always just that simple to follow Jesus. Many people, let me back up and say, we talk a lot about God's will. You know, I really only think there's probably 4 or 5 things in the Scriptures that says it's God's will. It's God's will that you be thankful. It's God's will that you abstain from sexual immorality and so on. There's a few of those. For me, all the rest is guidance, not His will. He wants to guide us, and that's where following comes in. So it doesn't say in the Bible who you should marry, where you should work, where you should live, what kind of car to buy. God may have an opinion about that, or He may not. Many times, my heart is to follow Jesus. Many times, I don't sense He's leading me any place. Or I'm actually asking Him for direction on buying a car, buying a house, developing a certain avenue of my ministry. So what I will do is often say to Him, look, I want your will. I don't hear you saying anything right now. I don't sense that you're leading me any place. So I'm going to assume you have no opinion on this particular subject, and I'm going to just use wisdom and get good counsel and make a good decision. But on the other hand, if you do have something you want to tell me about this, I'm open to it. So you move through life with freedom. Jesus didn't go down the street always looking over His shoulder and said, shall I heal this one, Jesus? How about this one? Should I do that one? Just sort of always being on the edge of whether or not he was following Jesus. He moved with freedom, but when he felt the prompt, he responded to it. So that's what I would call you to and me to, is to follow Jesus in that sense of freedom. But it's really just a practical thing of having a heart that is continually responsive to Jesus who's in you.